guys, what's up? I'm Xavier,
I'm Melissa.
and you're back on
XALY.
XALY. So, coming back with another episode this season.
Yes, we've been gone for a little bit. We were still in mourning.
Mm,
Last you saw us was the game of Luka versus Mavs
yeah,
in LA. So we're back.
yeah. So, I mean, that was a tough one, seeing Luka in that weird yellow. But we're kind of moving past all that. Now we're coming
Yeah.
in close to the end of the season, so
Yeah, we only have 3 more games left.
yep, so just about done. It's been a crazy one.
It has. Let's watch the team in general.
Mm.
Okay. So right now the team leaders, or at least it was, because they still have Kyrie's numbers still in there. Kai is leading in 24 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Right now, the team is rebounding 7.8, so we're doing pretty good. Blocks, we're only doing 1.8, so that's kind of low. That's kind of low for us.
But I mean, given it's not low. Given
You don't think
the
so?
the team without the bigs that we
Well, that's
have been missing
true.
all season.
Yeah, only recently did our Anthony come in and
Hmm.
Deli came back, and
We've been
actually
forced.
Deli's not yet. Oh yes, he did come
Yeah,
back. Gafford came back. So you're
yeah.
right. It's only been recent.
So
This is
those
the
are
whole
some of the
season.
updates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Other than Kai averaging more points, Anthony is actually coming up with 20.6 average. PJ and Clay are still fighting at it at 14 average. Najee's at
Consistency.
13. Gaff is at 12. Rebounding, of course, PJ is leading the 7.8. BJ's been a huge part of the team, so I'm not mad.
Yeah, definitely like the anchor on all around, whether it's
Yeah.
assists, rebounds,
Yeah,
points.
he's a full round teammate. Other than that, Anthony has actually been coming up with 9 rebounds, but he hasn't been playing as much as PJ, so that's why PJ still leads. D Live is 7, Gaff is 6, so all of our bigs are consistent, which I
Yeah.
like. Which rebounding is huge. That's why the bigger teams win so much. Assisting, it's Kai because he's a playmaker, but the next one is Dinwiddie, and averaging 4.4 assists.
No, I mean, trust me, the way that he shoots, he's been averaging, even especially as of late, a lot of assists.
Oh, for sure.
A lot.
They're so last minute, unconfident passes that our poor people have to try to make something out of it.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
that's the thing, right? Those assists are a lot of the times are bailouts.
yeah, like with Kyrie, he's a playmaker, so he's trying to
Right.
get that
He's
assist so you
trying to
can
get
make
you
it.
to get a
But
good
he's
look.
not making the team, like, he's not getting you an opening,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not too fond of Spence. But some of the updates, I mean, of course, the injury with Kyrie Irving, and
Yeah, that's so
so
sad.
we're heavily relying now on Spencer Dinwiddie at the point guard position. I'm not a fan anymore. I've completely jumped off the bandwagon. I tried.
he wasn't doing too bad, but
He wasn't.
he is the most inconsistent person or player that we've met. There's a
Well,
lot of inconsistency out there.
he's up there with Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
He's up there with Tim Hardaway. Where it's like, come on, guys, get it together. And I mean, yeah.
He's been coming through in some games, so we can't fully give him.
Yes, but he's not the leader. He's not starter.
Yeah.
And right now he has to be that leader, and he won't step into the role.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have to endure him for now, or he has to endure us for now, should I say? Because we're expecting a lot of him, and he doesn't want that responsibility.
Yeah, for sure. And who are you thinking? Offensively, since Kai's out and Dinwiddie's isn't our greatest, who are you liking for that position or role?
I mean, initially the season, I was thinking Hardy.
Oh, okay.
I wanted Hardy in there. Like if Kai were to go down, which I'd never obviously wished on it, but if it did, which unfortunately happened, I wanted Hardy to step into that role. He's pretty young, and I know that for a while it was Spencer and Hardy fighting at it. Mm-hmm. But ever since recently, we got this two-way player.
Oh yes, Williams.
So yeah, he's been making. He's been, man, that kid can hoop. That
He's
kid's crazy. So if you haven't seen Brandon Williams, look him up. I mean, he has already quite a bit of a highlight reel with the
for the
Mavs
short amount of
already.
time he's been playing,
Yeah,
he's
and
been giving his fullest.
yeah, and he hasn't
Or
played recently, not because he's injured like a lot of the people that have been playing. He's just not eligible because he is a two-way player. They have a maximum of 50 games he can play,
and he's already met it.
and he's already played quite a few with us. So he's no longer eligible to keep playing.
I like
So,
him.
but that just proves that we need to sign this guy full time because in a situation like right now, Spencer wouldn't have to take on the whole workload either.
Yeah.
Putting up Luka and Kai numbers, he could do his thing, kind of, put up the 12, 13 that he put up. And, B. Will can put up the 20, 30 because he was putting up big numbers.
Yeah.
Big numbers.
So how are you liking the team's defensive style now? Since it's less offense, since we did give away Luka and we don't have Kai.
Yeah. I mean, the way I've seen it as of right now, it's still very offensive heavy, really. It's just we're not gonna be heaving threes, right? We're not gonna be a strong perimeter. We're not gonna be ride or die from the three anymore, in my opinion. Which is great.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple times where Luka would be heaving these threes. It's like Luka just a simple drive to the basket, but he obviously doesn't have that dunk package,
Yeah.
So if he gets in the rim, he always has to fight still to the rim, like if he's a little guy, even though he's 6'7".
And that's why I like Williams. Williams is really good.
Very shifty.
Yeah, very handsy, trying to get to the rim, and he gets there.
Yeah.
Or the point that he makes the shots go in is what's great because anyone can get there.
And once he starts doing that, right, he makes them, he sinks a couple, then he'll start passing.
Yeah.
Because they start recognizing that he's a threat. Versus Spencer tries to get to the cup, and when he does, he'll miss. So everyone's kind of like, nah, try it. And then he'll just bail out a shot, and it's not the same look when Brandon Williams. But yeah, I think that we're still, we're not heaving threes anymore like Luka would. And now we have Anthony inside the paint who can score consistent too, inside. And then we just need our shooters to shoot, which is going to be Kyrie, which is going to be Clay, which is going to be PJ, Spencer, heave a couple in there, we need them to then just heave threes. But the cool thing is that those guys should have the versatility also to go inside, be able to make a three and make them come out, but also score in the paint if they have to.
Yeah. And is there any players in the team that you're liking specifically or like shining more, that you like?
I mean, as I would say, Brandon is
Williams.
Yeah, he's the biggest excitement that we got going on, and he's fun to watch, and he'll score. He's very consistent, on the offensive end. So whenever we need buckets, he'll keep us in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking about games, let's go back in time. Let's review the 5 games we've gone to just so we can speak about the future. So obviously, we've all seen the recent 2 against Clippers, and we've lost both. So that's bad. Do you think the Clippers are like a really hard team to beat recently? Like, what's special?
I mean, there's already beef there with Clippers, right? I don't know if it's the same anymore because it's a different team, but I know that now with the presence of James Harden, it's always going to be a tough one to call. James Harden, even though I'm not a fan of his game much, he does give up a lot of threes on his own. So, he's bound to put up 20 something, 30 a night.
Yeah, no, definitely. Last game, he put up 29 with Leonard, another 29. And then Zubac got 25. So those are really high numbers. So I can see.
Yeah. And the reason being Clippers, because like they're kind of like in the same aspect, James is not really there for his defensive presence.
Okay.
He can heave some threes, and he'll heave a lot of them. Kawhi is going to be always the X factor, I feel, because if Kawhi is not going to be able to perform offensively, but he'll dig in defensively and still make an impact. That's what he's really known for, is his defense.
Oh, okay.
He's the claw. That's what they know him. So But when he turns on offensively, also as you just said, that's when it's even scarier.
Yeah.
Now he's not letting you score, and he's just scoring all over you. And shoebox, I like shoebox there. He's just always a pest.
Yeah.
He's been a pest against us for a while, but ever since we got Gafford and Lively, we've been able to kind of neutralize him.
Well, I was gonna say that even though they have really high points, Anthony led it with 27, still, up there with them. And then we have Kai Jones also leading at 18. So it made me seem like it was very defensive strong this game.
Yeah, it had to have been, a lot of perimeter game from them. Very much like the game against the Nets that we recently lost. They heaved up a ton of threes, and that's why they won, because they were on that night.
Yeah.
But playoffs is a game of series. It's a series game. So if it comes down to a team that's live or die by the threes like we were, and you have a night, a string of nights that you're not gonna make it.
Ooh, I can feel the anxiety of playoffs coming. Anyways, let's go to the previous game, not this last game, for the Clippers. The Clippers got 114, Mavericks got 91, which is a very low scoring game. I think it's because last game we went defensively. The game before that we went offensively.
So
because Najee got 22, Dinwiddie got 18, and Hardy got 16. Those are our main offensive players.
Yes. Well, yeah.
I think I wonder if that's what caused the switch to be defensive. Like, oh, we didn't get away with offense,
On this last game.
Well,
it doesn't help that Spencer shot 1 of 11.
Oh.
So he did terrible. Point being, again, and then Hardy went down. Mm-hmm. He rolled his ankle.
Oof. So we had no backup. And then we couldn't play Williams.
And Williams is not out there. So the workload is landing on Spencer, and this is what I'm talking about. Spencer doesn't want it. 1 of 11, man, come on. That is Tim Hardaway stuff again. And it's like, come on, guys. Y'all get paid for this. Seriously. Like, well.
So you're seeing under pressure, he can't pull through.
It's not even that. Because I feel like sometimes when he's getting, the most pressured, I think he's his worst enemy. He's his own worst enemy.
So when he himself overthinks,
I think he's a huge overthinker, because I've seen it where he's being pressed in the corner of a 3-point line and he'll make buckets. But when he gets in his own head, and that's his own problem, he's getting in his own head. I feel if he was to get out of it, but you can't teach that. He's gonna have to want it, and I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like I've seen him on defense. Sometimes his defense doesn't, his body language is like, I don't want that ball.
Yeah.
So he just don't want it, and that's fine. We need someone who does.
True. We need a Sam Williams.
We need a brand new Williams.
Anyways, the game before that, it was the Hawks and the Mavs. We won that one, but it was a close game. It was 118 to 120.
Nail biter with Anthony Davis, his game winner.
Yeah, I remember seeing that all over.
Exciting.
Goodness, he's consistent in that spot.
Yeah, well, see, that's what they're saying, right? Like, oh, we need Luka. Like, guys, really, like, Luka was a pest because he could score in the paint. Mm-hmm. Really, it was his in paint presence that made Luka dangerous, because it wasn't his three. Especially this year, the beginning of the season, his 3-point percentage was terrible. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I didn't write that one down, but it was bad.
But you can't deface Luka either.
No, I'm not defacing Luka, but I'm saying it's not like, man, this Luka was like the purest 3-point shooter in the world, and that's why he was golden boy. He just, a lot of what he could do is he was a tough guy in the paint and he'd get it done. I guess he couldn't dunk maybe, so a lot of the times he was getting slapped around in there. Versus Anthony Davis, maybe not so much. He might get hit in the eye a couple times, but he's gonna dunk it on you. He's gonna make sure those 2 points are going in, and that's what Anthony brings to the table. Very, very similar to Luka's gameplay.
I agree. And Anthony was leading that game with 34. Clay hit off at 17. We had Hardy at 13 and Dinwiddie at 14. I just like it when everyone can get the ball, and offense and defensive people are getting points. So I think it's been showing, but it's also been showing when our offense is not on, then we can't work as a team.
But that is also, again, leading to injury. This year, even season averages is hard to depict. The gameplay of this season because it's been so up and down with injury. Like
Well,
Hardy
I
got
mean,
injured again for the fourth time this
yeah.
season. It's crazy.
Well, Dallas has been having a hard year. Don't mind us.
Shout out.
We're still all in our black clothes. We're slowly peeking through. At least the true Maverick fans are.
Yeah. Hold in there, guys. Hold on. Hold
Right.
on in there.
Anyways, for leading Hawks, we had Trae Young at 25. We had Onyeka. I think I'm saying that right, at 20.
What you call me?
Muñeca. Oh no, wrong. Anyways, I think that's not bad. I know Trae Young's a pretty good player. Onyeka, I think that's his name. I haven't heard much, but maybe because we don't watch much.
I'm not. I mean, I'm to begin with. The Hawks aren't to me the most exciting.
Oh, okay.
I know it's Trae Young, Clint Capella, that's running the show over there, and Clint used to be a center that was kind of a powerhouse, but I think now in this age of new bigs, there's not a lot more bigger people, and he's getting older.
There's a lot of bigger people.
They're not very attention grabbers for me. Sorry.
Alrighty, and the game before that is the Nets. We lost 113 to 109. Which is still pretty low playing game.
Yeah, well, like I said, the Nets couldn't really make a presence that game in the paint. In that, I mean, they made a huge impact. There was a lot of threes that were saving them, really.
Yeah.
So that was just a good night for them. I know that they're also a kind of a lower end team in the East, but then again, like I said, the Mavs were barely coming out of injury. I think Anthony Davis was only a few days out.
We had just gotten Gaff back as well, so we were just rolling. We're still rolling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the tough part. It's the end of the season, and we're still like, well, we're barely getting started, and like,
which is okay. It's okay. Future us.
Yeah,
we're winning next year. Anyways, we had Keon Johnson leading in the Nets with 24 and D'Angelo Russell at 18. I haven't heard much of Keon, but I know D'Angelo Russell's a really good player over there. So I'm not surprised. They did start off slow. So their scores were the lowest in the first quarter, and we ended off slow. Our scores was the lowest in the fourth quarter. But that seems to be like the normal pattern. Because with the Hawks, we were also slow in the end. And the last game with the Clippers, we were slow in the end.
We don't have Mr. Fourth Quarter.
We don't have Mr. Fourth Quarter, Kyrie. I heard his surgery went well.
Yes.
So, that's good news. Yep. But, I mean, I wish we had.
It's still a long road to recovery.
That's true.
So I will say, guys, it's gonna be still a bumpy road.
Be patient.
Even next year.
Be even more patient.
Very much like the stock market.
Oh.
Right now, it's very down. It's just
bye.
It's just a vibe around here. But what goes up must come. Never mind. That doesn't even apply there.
Yes, it does, because our next games is with the Lakers, so we get to see our Luka.
We do
again.
Welcome back to the DF Dub.
Yes, and this game is very important because right now we're in the 9th in the West, so we have to win this one.
We have to win the next 3 games, or the Suns have to lose the next 3 games. Either or, but because if we tie with the Suns, they hold a tiebreaker over us.
Oh, okay. So we can't tie.
We can't tie with them.
So we just can't lose. Simple as that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be exciting. Luka's gonna come with it, coming back home.
I know how exciting.
It's gonna be a little. Yeah.
Well, Luka and LeBron are coming, so don't forget he has package now, because they are the top players over there. They've won 47, lost 30, so not too bad. After them, it's the Raptors from the East. They're number 11.
Yep.
So they won 28, lost 50. They're not having a good year, and that's okay.
Yeah, they're
obviously us either.
Hopefully that could be another W in the calendar.
Hopefully, but I've noticed with the Mavericks, sometimes if it's I don't want to say easier, but if it's an easier team, they let off way too much and we lose. Yeah. And it's like, Okay, and then we're gonna play the Grizzlies next. They're number 8, so they're right there
Okay.
with us.
Yeah.
They have 46 wins and 32 losses. So not bad, not bad. Any comments on the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I mean they're still a powerhouse, right? Obviously John Morant is their main guy over there. Um, and I know Desmond Bain to me is their number 2.
Okay.
I know they have the
Jaren, yeah. He
Jaren
was
Jackson Jr.
mhm.
He's their center. So I mean he can be a force,
Mhm.
but as I've said before, I think he's more like a 4 than more like a true center. We've played against him already before,
Mhm.
and he doesn't have much help, I would say. You know,
Like alone.
yeah, and as in
Okay.
height wise, he's pretty much going to be their sole rebounder, the sole guy that's
Mm.
going to be taking it to the cup.
Because they're a small team.
For the most part, yeah,
Okay.
but they're pesky little guys. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
they can shoot for sure. Desmond Bain, like I said, he's scary. He just dropped 38 the last game, so it's not always John Morant that's going to carry this team. Ja's cool with dropping 12, 13 points and just coasting along.
Oh, okay.
So honestly, he's been the guy who carried the team. Even every time
So
Ja's out, Desmond Bain is kind of him.
okay. And you think our defense is capable, or it's gonna be a fight?
I think it's going to be pretty tough for them. I
Okay.
can't say it's going to be like we're going to just dominate because we're bigger. They've learned to adapt to obviously the bigger environment.
Yeah.
So they're kind of accustomed to be able to make those tough shots that are over our bigs and stuff like that, drawing a foul, you know. So it's a battle. I can see why they're 8th in the West at least.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's
which
gonna be
is
fun.
which essentially they're the spot we're trying to fight for. So
Yeah.
we might see them again. So it's going to be interesting. Those are going to be the tough ones, the Western Conference matchups, which is LA and
The Grizzlies.
the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
No offense to the Raptors, but
yeah. But either way, you'll see us after that, and then we'll go from there. Let's see if we go to
yeah,
postseason.
either season's over or we're getting ready for playing.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you
So it's
posted
gonna
and
be fun.
updated either way. Yeah, stay tuned, guys.
All
See
right.
you next time.
Bye.